everyone.
Hi guys.
Welcome back. I am Eliz.
I'm Lilyemma.
This is Blonde Vibrations. Champagne Whispers. We do have a friend. Okay, people who are listening aren't really gonna be able to like fully understand what's going on, but if you're watching, do you want to explain the situation?
There's a bigger than life size
Man.
shoulder up image of Harry Styles behind us. I have no explanation for it.
Actually, I can see another Harry in your room. There is Harry's, but one of them he has his eyes closed. One he's looking directly at the camera.
And he's so creepy. There was a poster sale. Okay, he was £6.
Yeah, in your defense, it was very cheap. You didn't spend like £50 on it. Do you know what I mean?
It's really good quality. Like, it's so HD.
It looks like 1989.
Yeah, and I folded, and I'm currently redecorating my room, and I don't even know why I've done this, because I wanted everything in frames, and this is bigger than A0.
But do you know what? It looks really nice, and it's filled. If you guys watched it last time, it was a blank space. No pun intended. Yeah, so that makes sense. But it fits the theme.
Yeah, also I have wet hair. I just washed my hair and I just didn't have time to let it dry. So we're going to see my hair slowly dry throughout the episode.
Someone make a time lapse. That would look well cool. I mean, it kind of looks like how it will look. You know, if it was soaking wet.
Much more.
Yeah.
It would just not be... It'll be slightly bigger.
Well, anyway, so Harry fits the theme because this whole week, we've not really got a title yet. You'll see what it is. But the running theme of it is concert etiquette.
Yeah, the concert experience.
The whole vibe, the controversial opinions surrounding it or whatever, because there's a lot to unpack. So first of all, do you want to explain our, not our history with shows, but how this relates to us?
Yeah, so we were kind of thinking this is like a fun blend between our other show, Platinum Mixtape, and this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're on Spotify, you'll know about the Platinum Mixtape. But if you're not, we have another side of the show in which we have a radio show and we talk about shows that we've seen, music we're liking, and I just feel like we go to a lot of concerts as a whole. Like, it was one of the reasons we became friends was because of music, and it's how we bonded, and it's just...
We also have a very balanced view of the show experience because we've gone as children. What was your first concert?
Little Mix.
Nice. Mine was Pixie Lott.
It was early Little Mix as well. It was back when they had their set outfits. You know, Jade had the snapback.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Was it Jade that had the snapback?
Maybe. I don't know.
But her red hair.
Yeah.
Red curly hair.
I loved that hair.
Yeah, so I used to be obsessed with her when I was younger.
So yeah, we've both gone as I don't know if is that children age? Young teen, probably.
I probably was a child.
Yeah, I don't know how old I was for Pixie Lott, but I remember going to McFly when I was young teen, because that was probably my first one without an adult, and then I got picked up after the Montfort Hall Astor, and
my first one without an adult was late on in life.
I don't know how old I was then.
But I've said this before. It's because there were no good concert venues in Suffolk. So in order for me to go to a concert, I would have to go to London, which I never could really do on my own, because also where are you going to stay and things like that. So I went with my parents, even when I saw 5 Stars on their Rock Out tour. For Jasmine.
She's doing the rock and roll sign for those listening. Twice. 3 times. She's gone thrice on it.
Yeah, when I went to Brighton, my mum came with me. I saw the 1975 with my dad back on the I Like It When You Sleep tour, which was a choice. Yeah, but my first one was I saw Declan McKenna in Norwich with Grace.
Oh.
But her parents dropped us off, I think, and then waited for us.
Yeah, it's like the baby step towards going on your own is still being picked up by your parents.
And then I came to London with Ruben to see the 1975 on
There's something.
There's something to it, and I stayed with Izzy and Essex.
So yeah, I did Pixie Lott and then McFly, because the weird thing about De Montfort Hall is it has like random shows, but they're not necessarily like huge, because obviously it's like for shows.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing McFly there, and
McFly suit that.
I met Tom Fletcher's wife, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of that girl. And then I also saw Jamie T there with my parents sat, which I think putting that as a sentence is really weird, because I can't. If I went to see Jamie T now, I think I would stand.
Yeah.
And then you know how you were saying you would go into London? My version of that would be going into Birmingham, which okay,
Birmingham has a weirdly good amount of shows.
a lot of nowadays, like not so much back then, but now a lot of people, if they go to London, Birmingham will go, like be like the London of the Midlands. That's what I always say. And then Manchester's the London of the North, so everyone will go there. So we're gonna name drop Five Sauce again. I too saw Five Sauce at, what's it called, Rock City, or is that Nottingham?
That's Nottingham.
Maybe it was Nottingham then, because Nottingham's also closed.
What tour was that? Self-titled?
It must be. But I went with my cousin, so we were stood, but then our mums were also there, just further back, so that wasn't a like going on our own situation.
Famously, when I saw Five Sauce in Brighton, my mum came with me, and I got barrier, and my mum stood at the back of the pit with Luke's mum.
Stunning.
Like,
what's her name again? Miss Hamo. I can't remember her name.
Liz?
Yeah, Liz. Yeah, because everyone would always have our Instagram, wouldn't they? But yeah, so we've been to many shows, and we've been to many shows together actually. We were meant to go on a run through of how many shows we've been to.
Oh no, we forgot.
I know.
Right, we'll text Becky.
We'll put it up.
She's going to put it up. We've gone to so many. We're not going to include festivals.
No, because festivals get messy, so we wouldn't know, like, would you count
also,
one
it's a
festival
different
or a set?
experience to a concert.
I would say
we've done at least 20.
I was going to say we've done at least 40.
Really?
Oh, we've done at least 30. I can name 20. I can name about 25, but I know we've done like the odd random ones as well.
Yeah, because you have to count like Strawberry.
Yeah, well, we've seen him like, what, 3 times at the very least. We've done random things. We've done Thomas like twice. You know what I mean? Like, it will add up.
Thomas is more than twice. No.
We've seen Mahalia at least twice. We've seen Maisie, Sabrina. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it adds up very quickly.
It's crazy. And you know what? We'll be the ones to say it. We've even made a sign together. What if we use this as a green screen, and then we could add a sign onto it each time? Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
I don't know what, like, I'd like someone to make a Blonde Vibration sign.
Yeah.
I don't know what though.
Jasmine.
Harry! The living legend! Have you guys seen that? I love that. Like, every time, you sent it to me the other day, but every time I like scroll and I see like Harry's about to smile, like he can't hold in his smile. Harry!
Come on, Harry!
It's so funny. Is it real?
Yeah.
Defo.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes me really happy then, because someone was like, it's like dubbed. I was like, I don't think it is. Like, the timing, the way he smirks, like, you'd only smirk if you had, like, Harry.
Jasmine.
It's so joke.
Jasmine, okay, icon. Jasmine's gonna be sat at home like,
then why am I... Anyone else that's not our Jasmine who's called Jasmine watching it, it's like, so I saw this TikTok, this is so off topic, I saw this TikTok, and it was about someone, one of those, like, Pobs, your refresher, and it was like, the person was talking to the camera, and the camera was called, like, Kerry, and the comment was like, I'm called Kerry, and this feels like a FaceTime right now. Like, that's how it would be with any Jasmine out there, or any Harry as well. Harry!
Yeah, also, I'm so sorry staring at you guys.
It is very intense, but it's fine. But the worst part is, there's a mirror behind us, so actually, Harry's looking at Harry and looking back. We do have low battery, but we'll see how far we can go. It's all just you've almost got Harry on each wall if you count the mirror.
I've got enough.
Oh, Harry. In Harry's house. Lovely. Okay.
That's a Jasmine special over there.
This feels like a weird, like, intimate room tour situation, but we're just, like, saying what there is instead of showing you.
Okay, let's get started before the camera dies.
We once again got you guys involved. We curated these questions so well. Like, I love looking at these. They look really nice, and it was your idea to kind of go through the concert experience. So we started off with a poll, And you don't know the results, do you?
No, I have been like seeing who's voted and who's answered, but I've not like paid attention to it.
Okay, good. So the first question was, oh, I just headbutted the microphone. Sorry about that. What time are you showing up for a concert? The 4 options are night before, I'm camping, ASAP, day of, a few hours before, chill queue vibes, and doors or after, IDGAF. What one?
Doors or after?
Can you be more specific with percentages?
I think it's close to the as soon as the day of or whatever it was. Like, no, a couple hours before.
Okay. Weirdly enough, it's tied.
Oh.
Like, we don't tend to get ties very
No.
often. But putting it out there, not a single person voted for night before I'm camping. I actually do feel like there's some people lying. Like, I know we get into camping and stuff later on, but I don't think some people will admit that they camp, and I'm not sure why.
Because I guess it's like, where do you draw the line of camping? Because if you're turning up at like 6 a.m. with a sleeping bag,
Does that count?
That is still camping. Just because you're not sleeping there the whole night.
You're still like camping out, because some people would say like getting there really early the day of, like, oh, I'm camping out all day. That's what you would say.
And also like when I went to the 975 with Ruben, I got there at something dumb like 9 a.m.
So would that be camping?
I wish I brought blankets and stuff, in which case it would have been.
Would it count as camping if it was summer and it was like really hot already? Would you class that as camping?
We're back.
The battery did in fact die.
Well, it actually didn't. It stopped recording. The battery hadn't died.
We're back anyway.
The battery, so you guys are fine.
Yes, nothing actually happened to you guys. It's always just us. Okay, so like we were saying, it was well, not 50-50, it was 38% each, actually. I know that does add up to 100, but when it gets really specific, it confuses me.
Yeah, so I think that it's not... It's obviously that is the listeners' result.
Yeah.
That is what you guys voted for. I don't think it's accurate. I don't think... Because there are people who camp, and to say that there's 0% of listeners who don't camp.
Well, of our survey.
Yeah, but I know that some of our listeners do camp.
That's what I'm saying. I think people are lying. That's what I'm saying. I think they're lying. But they might have just put like, to them, ASAP day of could be
4 a.m.
It could be 1 minute past midnight.
Yeah,
that's the day of. If they want to be technical about it, we're not judging you. It might seem it, but right now in this question, there's no judgment to that if you want to say that you've camped.
Yeah.
That was just a number.
Yeah, and I think from what I saw from who voted, I think it's made me realise that our following is more mature and older than I think we thought it was.
Did you think everyone's going to be like camping an ASAP day off?
Yeah, I thought, I mean, we have a lot of like teens following us, but the people who voted, I know for a fact are older because a lot of them...
If you vote, we do look at you, by the way.
Not to like scare you guys out of voting.
Just vibe check,
So I think that's that. I think it's an age thing of what time you turn up.
I see things of both sides. So my points were kind of in defense of the getting there ASAP and like the queuing situation. Because you can chill queue vibes, but you can also intensely queue a few hours before.
You can turn up at the same time and it's either a chill queue vibe or a...
Yeah, because we went to Dominic Fike and we went hours before, but it was a chill queue vibe for us because we were like, just show up, whatever happens, happens.
The Dominic Fike queue is what made me think of this theme, because we got there at midday, and we've been doing this for a while, we've been queuing for a while. We got there at midday and we were over 100 in the queue, and I think that is crazy. I think that is like...
Well, it's a similar thing to... I know this is kind of festival, but not really. For Lana, we must have been over 100. We were absolutely like over 100, maybe over 200, and we got there at like 1. Yeah, and people were getting there really, really early. It's like
people were queuing for the entry, which was at 1 p.m, and people queued for that.
Yeah,
like all morning.
My like defense, I suppose, of like queuing a long time. I put, if you are actually small, then you would have to think this through a lot more. Like, we are on the taller end, so like we were just saying about Dominic Fike, we got there like not early in terms of when people were arriving. We got there enough to get a good space, but we weren't like
Yeah.
by any means the first people. But we could see really well because we were tall, so we saw over. The first few rows were all just really small for some reason.
Yeah, I've got more to say about height in a later section.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let you take the reins with
Okay.
this.
All I have to say is if you are small, you're gonna want to show up earlier and to get a spot where you can see. Similarly, and this is why we do it a lot of the time, is to avoid moshing.
Yeah.
Like, we will queue because we know that the further forward you are, like, we would rather be really far forward or really far back. We don't want to hit that middle bit where you can just get hurt.
This happened to us at Declan McKenna on his Zeros tour.
Yeah.
I actually don't remember if we even queued.
No,
we did queue. We did queue.
We got there about 4 p.m. and we were like, that's really early. Like, do you think we should be showing up that early? There's not going to be that many people there.
And the queue was so long.
It was O2 Brixton, and we were like, oh my God, like,
Brixton
do you remember? It was like rows and rows, and we were like, what did we just do?
Like round the block, it was insane. And we hadn't gone to many concerts at this point. It was just about post-COVID. We hadn't gone to many concerts together. And the concerts that I had been to, I was right at the front. And personally, I prefer being at the front because I feel like I'm less in a crowd. I'm aware that it's the same amount of people, but I just feel like I can see a clear escape route.
Yeah.
And whatever. And we were right in the middle of Brixton Academy.
Oh, it was the worst.
Right in the middle. So I don't know why we went centre. We went centre middle of Brixton Academy, and we've never done it again because it was insane. And I think I might have like a bit of like crowd claustrophobia, which I'm kind of starting to realise now.
I think a lot of people get that like more and more now.
I don't think I realised I had it. I mean, I'm a bit of like a illness freak. So I think it might have started from COVID. Is that I didn't like being in crowds because I thought I was going to get ill. And now I find that it kind of happened at like Reading and Leeds. I was like, I actually don't want to be in a crowd. I can't. So yeah, I think I have a bit of crowd claustrophobia, and it was the worst experience of our lives. We all got split up. Well,
yeah, you and Grace were on like one side of things.
I had to leave. I had to leave. Yeah.
I don't know what happened. So the first few songs were actually okay. We were like, it's a bit crushed, but like we can deal with it. Something in the middle, and this is why we're like, why were the crowds so dead for Declan and Reading? Because Leeds even, because we were so like battered. I got taken away and I couldn't find my way back to them. At some point we had to FaceTime each other towards the end, and I was like, I can't see you.
I think me and Grace had to leave because I was like, I can't stand here any longer.
Because we found our way back to each other like towards the end, didn't we?
To the side. I mean, you were only gone for a song.
I think it was like 2 or 3.
No, it was only.
It was
2 maximum.
It was crazy, like the distance, and then I had to get taller people to help try and find you because it was like a my arms are in the air situation. I just went straight to the edge because I was like, I can't. Yeah, because we ended up being on the left side for the last song or two, wasn't it? Like, in the end, it was fine, but it was crazy. If you want to avoid that.
So after that was when we kind of went on our queuing stint, I would say.
Yeah.
This is why I think we're equipped to have this conversation, was because I'm aware that we're part of the problem. because of this, we got so nervous about queues that we would turn up to shows really early to make sure that we were barrier, not because we wanted to be, well, it's obviously good to be close and you have a really good view. Not for any of that, for the pure reason that we got so stressed about being in the middle of the crowd. There was a show that we went to after Declan, right?
Yeah.
That was at the Y Theatre in Leicester. And we'll talk about this again at a later point in this show. And we went there. I didn't know the band. And we went there so early that we were the first people in the queue.
Yeah.
And we were barrier of this tiny venue, and it was the scariest thing ever because we didn't know them like that, and we were front row,
and we didn't even learn because we did it again, right? The same band did Prism Kingston, but we know how rough Prism Kingston can be because it's so like sweaty, and everyone is just so like, it's actually horrible in that. So we were like, I skipped classes because we were like, oh my God, I wasn't meant to finish till like 3:30. We were like, we then have to get to Kingston. We're not going to get there till like gone 5, and we're going to be in like the danger zone. Like, I don't want to get hurt. So I skipped school basically. And then we went there and we got there for like midday and there was no one there.
And
not even set up.
the artists laugh at us. Like, it's like, it was a real... It makes sense, and I don't regret it, because I still stand by that I would rather be the front 3 rows than all right at the back. That there's no part of me that ever wants to get in the middle, and we've said this to people before, like, I can't, like, I don't want to be any further back. But it's embarrassing, and I'm aware that with specific people, because we started queuing early, other people now queue really early.
Yeah, it's like...
It's the butterfly effect of one person goes early, everyone else goes early. However, the only justification that I've written down is that a lot of the time, the day of a show, I'll tend to book it off because I get stressed about getting stuck at work and things like that. So we would just be sat at home anyway. Yeah. And we spend all day, every day together. We might as well go and sit on the street together. And we said this at one point. We were like,
no, why not?
We'd be at home anyway. Like, I don't have class today, so like, we might as well just come and sit out here or sit in the spoons opposite. Like, I don't care. It's a whole day experience.
That kind of ties into what I said. So my mini point, which I'll just throw in now, is I would rather be closer than wear my glasses to a show. Like, I want to be able to see. So that's another justification. But I put... Some people see queuing as a social experience. If you're going on your own, you might go and make friends. If we go, we tend to take like a few cans, some games and stuff. Like, again, like, if we're gonna be somewhere, we may as well, especially in like good weather and stuff, why would we not just like go chill? For artists who will not be named, Gunnersbury Park, that was the most stunning day. Like, it was the longest queue, but it was a gorgeous day. We probably would have been sat in a park anyway.
Yeah.
So why would we not just do the hour journey in the morning when we could be bothered and then go sit there and chill and whatnot?
Yeah. And I swear that was a Saturday.
I think it was.
We were ready for work.
Yeah, so it's like, why not? Like you said, if you're going to be waiting around. Because I remember sometimes, like, we'll just get ready really early because, like, you do kind of get, like, a bit of adrenaline, especially if it is someone that you've been, like, longing to see and stuff. You will just naturally be ready earlier. Then what? Yeah. What are you going to do? You may as well go.
There's a healthy way to queue. I think it's not to force yourself to get there earlier. I think we've kind of landed this, is that if we have this where we're ready early and we want to go queue and we've put the day off and things like that, then we will queue. And we kind of, I feel like we're getting to the point where we don't check what time other people are getting there.
No.
And we're like, you know what, we'll get there when we get there. And if there's people there, then there's people there. But I'm not going to wake up uncomfortably early and go and sit in the queue, because then I'm going to get upset that I woke up at 8 a.m. but there was already 50 people in the queue. Whereas we can wake up in our own time, head over when we want. And if there's 100 people, it's like, well, you know what, I didn't rush in the morning, I wasn't stressed.
Especially because we don't have stamina. Like, we won't be able to keep it up later on. Obviously, when the artist comes out, you do kind of, like, perk back up a bit. But in general, it's tiring if you're ready and you're over there. Like, if we're just going to be there anyway, that's one thing. But if you're forcing yourself to get there early, then it's just going to, like, the day is going to drag. If you're doing it, like, not for the wrong reasons, that's not quite the right wording, but if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it to say you've queued and whatnot, don't do it. Yeah, in general, and this is just, like, a blanket statement, for some, it's just a more chill experience. Like, if you're, especially for the working day people, you don't have time to be, like, booking it off or whatever. If you finish at 5, the show's at 7, you come home, you have your dinner, you're gonna go less intense, you just,
it's
like,
really
show up. It's really
nice doing that. We've done that before.
We showed up to our first Harry show after doors.
That was because we were fighting for our lives for tickets.
It's true, but, like, and it was very chill.
Yeah, we still had a really good view. 9:75, we had a meal, got ready, looked nice for it.
Yeah.
And we still had a good view. Like, I think once you do it, you realise that you don't need to do it anymore. Even, like, certain artists that we used to queue for, we no longer queue for. We rock up and we're, like, 2 rows behind where we used to be when we queued all day. But we've had a meal and we've had drinks and I don't feel tired or crusty and, like... It's a nicer experience, but I think you can queue healthily. I think our problem was that we're both very stressy people. Like, we're both very, like, nervous. And I think queuing would make us more nervous for things. because it
Bro,
was so much pressure. You've queued all that time. It was then pressure to get far forward. Also, then you're too nervous to eat. I get nervous on my own, so it's like I'm not gonna go and get food, things like that. Like,
yeah, I would get so nervous that I would specifically call what I didn't really compute at the time as anxiety, the Prism Kingston feeling in my stomach, because I would only get
yeah,
it there that intensely, and it was because of the nervousness surrounding going in. It was
yeah.
just horrible. But if you're going after doors,
You don't have that. You can just like take things at your own pace.
yeah,
And I don't enjoy rushing, and the element of going into a venue is so like rushing core that it just like,
rushing cool.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, yeah.
like you will rush for the barrier and they're telling you not to run, but so and so's running, and like you take a wrong turn and things
You're in
like
the
that.
wrong room.
Yeah.
We did this once.
We
Okay,
did
yeah.
this at Kingston.
We've been to Prison Kingston so many times. This was ages ago, mind you. We get in after we've been there all day, basically, and then we get guided to like the lounge room, and then we walk in. There's like a row of us, like going in, and then the people in there are like, "Why are you here?" And we were like, "We've just been sent here." And they're like, "The show's that way." So we're like, "What the hell? Like, are we just now not going
But
to be
then
where we
because
think
we
we
were
are?"
at the front of the line, everyone who was behind us and following us just turns around.
Yeah,
And we had to wham our way back in, but I think we just about got.
yeah. Luckily, for some reason, it didn't
Our
affect it.
usual gap was there. It was like everyone knew.
Yeah, everyone was just really slow that day, which is good. I was just gonna say on the like going and less chill, and this will probably be more relevant later when we talk about like red flags and other culture-based things at shows. But if you're going and it's less chill, you have less expectation of like interactions with the artist. If you're just going, you're like, I don't really care where I stand. You've kind of let go of that in your head. That like, do you know what I mean? Anything will happen. Because a lot of the time, not everyone, not necessarily personal experience, but just a lot of people, I'm thinking Harry shows,
Yeah.
will queue to get right to the front
So that
to be able to speak stuff. Yeah, because obviously Harry does this, and we'll talk about this later, but he does the whole like talking to the crowd bit. So yeah, you do, don't you, mate? Yeah, I'm talking about you. So people will go so that they can be the one to be like, I dumped my boyfriend last night. Can I go out with you instead? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I have a crush here. It's you.
yeah. So it's like that kind of thing. If you're like letting go of all of that, then it just becomes about like the music, I suppose. Any other thoughts on that?
No, I think queuing or not queuing, you just need to do it healthily, and you need to eat beforehand, and you need to hydrate. Not drink too much, because otherwise the whole thing's ruined. I think queuing makes it a whole day experience, but you don't want your whole day to outweigh the evening concert.
Yeah, because we've seen a lot of the time people that have been queuing all day, and then they'll make it like one song in, but because they haven't like they're malnourished, essentially, they'll just pass out. And it's really,
all the time.
it's so sad to see, because especially if you actually kind of recognize the face of the person, you were like, God, they were like in front of us all day, and then their entire show gets ruined. Well, it's like at Dominic Fike, someone passed out, and then they got passed over, but then they were still walking, and Dominic Fike noticed them, and he was like we're just watching them get like walked away. Up? It might have been, yeah. But like it happens all the time. The amount of people that passed out, like Lana, someone threw up in the crowd at Billy. Like, do you remember that? They were throwing up over the barrier at Leeds.
Oh yeah.
Like I know that's festival again,
someone
but still.
Threw up at the 1975 at Reading as well. Do you remember that?
Really?
That girl who was next to us with the duct tape exit.
She threw up.
Yeah, man. And she was so off her face.
Yeah, she was on drugs.
Threw up mid-set and then stayed there, and everyone was like, girly,
God, just leave.
Yeah.
But then like at that point you're battling, you're battling, like you've been there all day, so you want to stay, but if you're actually physically unwell.
Yeah, the girl at Billy stayed.
Yeah, and she was thrown over the barrier, and everyone was like, leave, because then it's unpleasant for and that will get into like red flags later, because it's just unpleasant for people around you. But I think it just depends. My closing statement on that is like, it depends what you want out of the experience. If you're like, I can't enjoy a show unless I'm like eye to eye, I need that eye contact. Like me and my friends, we love to queue all day. It's such an experience, and that's what I love about shows and live music. Valid.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I really don't care where I am, I'm here to listen to music, I'm not here to see them, I want to dance, I want the space to like throw it back, so I'm going to show up just before they come on. I don't even care about the sport act. That's also valid.
I think if you're a queuing person, I think try going to a show not queuing and just trial it out. because that's what we did. We just risked one show. We were like, you know what, we're just gonna rock up, and we were like, you know what, actually, this is okay. I actually don't need to be barrier for Thomas because I know him. Do you know what, like, once you kind of have that realization that it's like, I actually don't need to have that like face-to-face experience, because a lot goes into a concert that means you'll be able to enjoy it from anywhere.
Yeah, also, that will also unlock being able to, like, because this is all very, like, standing centric. If you now know that you can enjoy it from, like, anywhere, you can then start to sit as well. Because we once upon a time wouldn't really sit for things. But now, so our standing tickets for Taylor aren't the front, they're the back one, right?
Same with Harry, we've never been in a pod. No,
never been in a pod. And we have Loyal Kana tickets, which is sat, and we know we're going to enjoy that the same. We have, putting out there, guys, we have Olivia Rodrigo tickets. Sorry, we were the lucky ones. It actually wasn't us. We weren't lucky.
We didn't get tickets, which is why we've not shared it with anyone. We've not told anyone because we actually did not purchase the ticket. We obviously will pay for them, but we didn't. I lost the war.
Yeah, I was on the wait list. In the biggest plot twist of the century, me and my brother have like a randomly split like music taste at the minute. Like everything's kind of like the parallel lines are closing in. So he managed to get 4 Olivia Rodrigo tickets,
and we are 2
of them. But yeah, I can't imagine we're going to be queuing for that. I think we're going to show up in our little purple, probably like just in time for. Yeah, that'll be perfect. We'll show up in time for Remy Wolf. We'll be there, and then we'll sing our hearts out.
And that our okay with seating started because we were put on seating against our will once.
Yeah, we were put on guest list for a show. Very blessed to that have happened.
We were very thankful for it.
This isn't ungrateful, but we weren't aware of the situation. We thought we were standing. And we had friends. We were literally going with friends that were standing.
We were going with Becky, who edits this.
Yeah. So Becky knows this story, and it was so stressful and funny at the same time. So then we queue with them. They get there first, but we join them a bit later.
We only get there for like an hour, so it's not a big deal.
No, it's not like it was an all-day thing. It was the chill queue vibes.
Yeah.
And then we have to go pick up the guest tickets like after doors have opened.
So we were box office.
Yeah, so we're like, you guys go in, and we'll find you in a bit. And then we go in.
And there's a problem with the box office, and it's really delayed. And the support act started, and the support act's entire family's in the queue. So we're like, guys, just go in front of us, like it's fine. And we're thinking like, oh god, like obviously that's a priority, but now are we going to be able to get back to our friends who are at the barrier? We were like, oh my god, like this is crazy. We get our tickets, and Eliz jokes and goes, imagine if they were seated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, like they wouldn't put us on seated. Why would they do that? Like they know where Pit Girlies. And I look down and they're seated tickets, and I'm like, oh my god. And we're stressing. This is so funny looking back on it now, because we're stressing out. We're thinking like, why have they done that? Like we're not going to be able to see anything. Like I'm finna be in the pit. We go to our seats and they're like,
row 1, B and C. There's one empty seat next to us, and that's it. It is, as the artist put it himself, the best seats in the house. But we were like, oh, we feel a little bit silly.
Like we sat down and we were like, oh,
because it was the best view we'd ever had for them, and like we could sit if we wanted to. We had our drinks with us.
Yeah, we went to go get a drink in between support acts.
It was the best experience ever. And now I'm like, I wish I could sit for them all the time, but they don't do venues like that often.
No, and I just like, so try something out. If you have your like set routine, I really like can't express, because we're creatures of habit.
Yeah, we'll just do it.
I can't express how rewarding it is to trying out a different concert experience, and do it for someone who you're not super keen on, or someone that you've seen before, so that if you do try it and you're like, no, it's not really for me,
it's not your one experience.
You know, for example, we tried being at the back of a pit for an artist that we normally are at the front, but we did it at a festival where it was only a half-hour set, and it was like, well, you know what, if it's not great, it's a half-hour set and we've seen the songs before. Like things like that, I think really try that out, and you'll realise either, no, I do enjoy queuing, or I don't enjoy queuing, so I can spend the time doing other things. I think just do what you want.
It's also, this is personal, this is also about the 1975. They're just coming up a lot at the minute. So we saw them last year at Reading, this year at Leeds. Last year at Reading, we did the whole we're going to stay in the pit, keep working our way forward.
Because it was convenient to us also because we liked everyone up until then.
Yeah, so we did that. And then this year we had the opposite where we were like, we actually have so much going on the back and forth stages. We're just going to do that, and wherever we end up, we end up. So we were further away this year for the 1975, and it was a great experience. We had so much dancing room, like, and it was great, and we could still see, and it was literally fine.
Yeah.
So that closes off my thoughts about that. Now we go on to the more intense discussion, and we have a lot of chat from you guys. The question box was simply thoughts on camping culture for concert queues. You guys are so like mixed with it. So someone said, actually, well, where do you fall? Yes or no? Can you? Okay, I also say no. So someone said, you do you, but I will not be participating. Valid. Because like to a certain point, like you can have opinions on it, but if you're not doing it, because we've never done it, we've never camped. I do wonder if it would change our opinions at all.
Like it's not as bad as you think.
Yeah, if it is like, because I'm picturing like a summer's day, you're treating it like it's like festival camping. I bet some people think of it like that actually. Yeah, some people probably treat it like festival. Like festival camping is not nice. So if they're just saying it's that, but it's closer to home, and if you really need to run home and get anything, you can. Not that anyone has argued that point, but if they did, I'd be like, okay, fair. Someone else said dangerous. I get it, but like just go the morning of. Yeah,
I agree.
Maybe a bit too far. Not everyone can do that. Also, it's not always safe if no security. Someone else said not the safest if it's winter. A lot of this is about safety, which we can like go on about. So someone else said it's dangerous, horrible, get rid of it. No need for camping. It's too excessive. Turning up early on the day is class though. Too extreme. And okay, we always get the best person doing lovely little, not that you can really see, paragraphs. So once again, I'm going to read this out for you.
Little section.
Yeah. I was very anti-camping, purely because we all have opinions. But is it actually bad? I think it's super dangerous, but fans know that's a risk they're taking. In my opinion, it does get selfish when venues ask you not to camp and people still do. Or they queue around the corner as substitute and then expect non-camping fans to stick to their pre-made system. Also, especially being mad at people with accessibility needs just because you choose to camp is so silly. Or the irony of homeless people being removed from street shelter but fans are not. But if it is safe and harmless, I guess let people have their fun. No point bringing others down if they have fun. Then right at the very end, you don't actually need to feel like you should you don't actually feel like you should read everything out I say. Of course, haha, I'm literally waffling.
We asked this person specifically to speak to us because I love when they do these little paragraphs. They just summed up everything I was going to say.
Yeah, because it is like, there is safety concerns.
Yeah.
But you should be a well-informed adult, or like at least adult, like you should have a sound mind.
Yeah.
To know what you're doing, know what you're getting yourself into, and then if anything happens, is it like a, well, you knew what you were doing situation? I
always say the whole homelessness thing. I think it sits really wrong with me that I think, especially looking at it from a London point of view, I think there's a lot of stigma around homelessness here.
It's very anti-homelessness, basically.
Yeah,
like
and
the
it's
people.
very unwelcoming, and and I think it's weird to see rows of tents outside concert venues when homeless people can't set out outside train stations and things like that. Like, it really just morally doesn't sit right with me. I also think it's a huge thing, like homeless people being moved along and things like that when they've got their tent set up. And I agree is that a lot of venues have a no camping rule and people continue to camp, and then
that's even more unsafe because you then don't have the
security of it.
Yeah, you don't have the venue backing you, and you're probably going into side streets and stuff. And I do think there is a slight difference between queuing on a main road where everyone can see that that's where you are queuing and it's a lot more like self-contained than you being like, okay, we're not allowed to queue, so meet us 3 streets away, we're going to camp there. I used to
get a bit scared queuing outside Brixton Academy back in the day. When we got there at like midday and there was nobody there, I wasn't happy there because I was like...
I said, I think okay, this is my like point of view. If it's harming no one, do it. Winter, I worry about young people. You're also maybe missing meals. Like you might not be, but you're probably not completely nourishing yourself. And then I also said safety wise, London based again, some parts we don't even like to walk at night, let alone potentially putting our belongings at risk. You know, you can't say that you're gonna wake up in the morning, all your stuff will necessarily be there. Like we don't. If we're walking down the street after a night out, I won't have my phone out in my hand. So therefore, I wouldn't want to go to sleep having it next to me on the pillow or whatever. Like I know some people probably say they have like a padlock, their bag shut and everything. I'm like, I do understand you're probably doing like lots of measures and stuff. Me personally, I couldn't put things at risk like that.
But it's their own choice if they want to.
Yeah, and like with the homelessness situation, you were saying this is not intending to attack the person whose tweet I saw, but I just noticed it. Someone was like, "Oh, we were camping for X band, and people were going past giving us money."
Yeah,
and I'm like, that feels really wrong because I know like you're not exactly putting yourself out there being like, can we have spare change or whatever, but the fact that people are like giving you money, that means you like are looking homeless like in that way. Shouldn't that money be going to the real homeless people?
Yeah.
And it's not cosplay homeless, like that's not what I mean, but it doesn't exactly sit right when there actually are people on the streets that aren't being given money, but people are taking pity on you as young people going to watch a show.
Yeah.
And you're getting money for it. Like, why do you get to benefit, but the people who actually need it? Like, you have a home to go back to.
Yeah, and it's weird having security look after you while you camp.
Yeah.
When there's so many, like, even like if you're a young girl, there's young girls on the streets who don't have security looking after themselves. I think also the accessibility comment I saw about that, I can't remember what show it was, but I remember seeing people being like, why are you crying? It's an accessibility queue. I also think camping itself has also been a problem for accessibility. I think it's I think queuing in general as well. In order to queue and camp and take part in this, you have to be like an abled person. Like you have to be able to sit still for long periods of time, not only like physical disabilities, but also like mentally. You need to sit on the street for hours, you need to camp. Like if you're going to go to the bathroom, you'll just go to a nearby bathroom. You don't have to worry about like accessible toilets and things like that, I think. And I don't know how that would become a more inclusive thing, because that's the nature of queues.
Yeah, and
I agree that there's a huge accessibility problem in camping and queuing culture.
And if that is the case, then the people who are camping, you actually cannot get annoyed then that there is the accessibility queue who get to be let in before you. What other choice do they have? If there's someone in a wheelchair, you can't queue, or you might be able to, but say you couldn't queue all day, and then you get to be let in a few minutes before so you can set up your chair in your space and everything. I think it's very selfish for someone that's been queuing all day. That you chose to queue all day because you can. What is that? That person can't be in the mosh pit. Like, physically.
You also get, like, people with, like, anxiety and claustrophobia being let in first, which is kind of like what we were saying earlier about how we don't like being in crowds. There's people who really can't do it and can't even stand at the back of a venue and things like that. Like,
there's also, and this is, like, there's not really a solution to what I'm saying. It's more just, like, how? Like, how does it end? Because if people are showing up, like, you always see those memes where, like, a show gets announced and it's like, I'm in the queue already, lol.
Yeah.
And that's funny. But, like, so say people start camping the day before. Okay, that's one thing. When you see the Harry shows, people were camping for not the one that was coming up, not the one that was after that, but the one after that. And it's like, actually, how much time?
Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, because people probably would then start like taking it in shifts. If I'm like, oh, I have my day off tomorrow, yours is the next day, I'll camp tomorrow. Then you come and take the slot. Like, at that point, I would argue that it is excessive.
Yeah.
And like, I can't fathom like a way to get around it all either.
No, I think it's again, we were kind of saying earlier, it's a big butterfly effect that you camp at midnight the day before, someone else is just going to get there at 9 p.m. the night before in the future then, because that's the dynamic that you've set. And then trying to get there earlier so you get barrier, you're making it harder for yourself down the line. We've done it. Like, we've learned that the hard way, and I think,
it's all very competitive, isn't it?
yeah, and I don't know how it can be fixed.
Neither. It would almost, like, we have a question later on, like, fixing the
Yeah.
problems and stuff, but it would all have to be very collaborative. For the camping specific issue, it would have to be very collaborative. Everyone just be like, bro, we're going to take a step back.
Was it Harry's birthday show that just gave out numbered wristbands?
Yeah, I do
And
quite
then
like
they
that.
picked a random number, but it was still, you had to queue to get a number.
Yeah.
But, like, you got in the line. No, it wasn't even that. It was, you turned up between a certain time, got a wristband, but you still had to turn up early, but you didn't have to queue.
Yeah, you, like, left after.
And then, yeah, I think that's interesting. It's hard because it requires staffing and organisation, but I think that was cool because you then have people who wanted to turn up earlier could without having to queue. People who didn't care wouldn't have tried.
Yeah.
And it's random, but not so random because it's still got an order.
It's all very difficult because in theory, it's like a harmless habit. Like, you're not intending, as far as I'm aware, you're not intending to go through and hurt people and cause these problems and really, like, have a wider issue. But I'm not sure how you can successfully get away with doing it without those, like, I'm not calling you ignorant or anything, like, I don't necessarily feel that, but there are things that you really do need to think about.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't think about it because they're just kind of considering, I'm going to get that barrier slot at the end of the day, which, like, is valid if that's what you think and that's all you care about, because it goes back to, like, what you want out of the experience. But I think you do need to, like, take care almost and just, like, how you go about things. We do have a lot to consider for the rest of the episode, but
we're going to do it as a two-parter because otherwise it's going to end up being, like, 2 hours long.
The Champagne Whispers have got very long recently, we will admit that, but we just have a lot to say that we don't necessarily plan for. Things just start coming out. Like, this wasn't necessarily meant to be a 45-minute episode.
No.
So far, I would have put maybe 20 minutes on this bit.
Yeah.
You know, it happens, but it means more content for you guys as well at the end of the day.
Yeah, so we're going to put a pin in there. You guys have already given your thoughts on everything. So I don't know if it'll be next week. It might be a pattern mixtape next week and then the week after.
Yeah.
So,
do you know what though? This is kind of good because for once, we're not filming this immediately after. So you actually have time. If you have anything you want to say, we'll just tease. If you've not seen our Instagram stories at all, if you have anything open-ended that you want to discuss about, like, signs, concert etiquette, red flags, or if you have any
crowd experience at a concert.
If you have any ideas about, you know, making the whole show experience better, like what we were just saying, like how can it be more, like, collaborative and things like that.
Or even if you have, like, a personal experience about a concert you've been to where camping, queuing, signs, crowds, etc. were a problem or were really good, let us know and we can, no matter how long the story is, we'll include it. We can make it really collaborative. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. Even send us voice notes if you want.
Yeah.
We've never done that, but that could be really cool.
And, like, if you want us to play it. Yeah. Because we won't play it unless you tell us.
Because I was about to say, like, people will know your voice, but no, we'll know your voice. No one else will know that's you. I don't know. But all of that, that's true. All of that can be done over on Instagram, blonde_vibrations. In our bio, we have our link tree with everything else. Wherever you're watching, listening, digesting this on, make sure you follow or subscribe or whatever your equivalent is. And we'll just see you next time, I think. Thanks so much for being in this part with me.
That's okay. It was a pleasure.
Thanks,
you,
Harry.
Lily icon.
Cool. Well, we'll just see you next time, won't we? Bye.
Bye,
Love ya.
Thanks for watching or listening. Should we do it?